Hey, welcome to this new video where we will be doing an in-depth install of the rear rack on the RadMini Step-Thru 2. So before we go ahead, I'm going to show you the bike here. I've got a DIY throttle grip. I've got the Gub phone mount here, very good phone mount. And then a rear view side mirror here, also really useful. On top of that, I have a black front rack here, and I have my DIY really useful, really bright headlight. Comment below if you want to know more about it. I've got a water bottle holder here attached to the stem. The product I can link below, and a Kryptonite folding lock. Everything else in the back is pretty much stock. So before I go ahead, I'm going to show you my headlight. So I'm going to turn on, and boom, there it is. Super bright. Way brighter and more spread than compared to the stock that came with the bike when I originally got it. So I'm just going to step back and show you what it looks like now and what's going to look like after I install the rear rack. So here we're going to install in the back here. I'm going to have to remove the light. And it's basically just go over this rear fender here. So here I have, I've ordered the orange one. Kind of like the orange with the white look, white frame. The packaging comes with this bag of zip ties and screws. So let's take the rack out of the bag. Get a closer look of this thing. It's very shiny. It's actually very light as well. So it's just going to mount right over here. Fits perfectly. Okay, so let's do the install. First of all, you're going to need to turn off your battery. And then empty out whatever charge is left by holding the menu button. And now let's disconnect the brake cable. So we'll wiggle a little bit and it'll pop right off. Now what we're going to do is use a 4mm Allen tool and slowly try to loosen the screw. First of all, you're going to need to figure out which way to turn it. You don't want to strip it, remember, so you want to take it carefully. So once you've gotten it loose, slowly you can use your finger and take out the screw. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that's done, you can take off the rear light assembly. Now on the back of the rear light assembly there are two nuts, which you can use a 8mm socket to release. So remember, there is a nut and a washer on both sides. So you don't want to lose that. Just put that aside. Okay, so now you can disconnect the light from the mount here. The mount, you're not going to need this one. So you can either throw it away or just put it aside if you want to install it back later on. And here is the light module. So now with the rear rack, notice those two holes there. You're going to align it and put those holes through there's two screws on the light mount through those two holes, just like that, okay? Here's another view. Slides right in. Alright. And then you're going to take those two washers and two nuts that you had just taken off, put it back onto this new one, right? So this washer in first, and then the nuts. Right, hand tighten it first and then use the socket. Remember, you never want to over tighten anything. As long as it's a snug fit, then you're good. And here it is. So in the bag it comes with 4 screws. There's going to be 2 that are smaller and 2 that are bigger. The smaller screws will be used to mount the top of the rack, and the 2 big ones will be on the bottom. And now here you can notice the 2 screws. The left one is smaller and the right one is bigger. So now, okay, here we go. The big screws again go on the bottom there, and the small screws will go on the top. So here we go. Put the big screw through first, and slowly try to find the screw hole there. Once you have it, use a 8mm Allen tool and make sure you don't strip it, but you slowly turn the screw to get in there. It was a little bit difficult. Takes quite a bit of pressure, but it does go in. For some reason my right side was a little easier to get in. Now you'll notice that once you have that in, the top part, when you try to put it in, it doesn't actually align perfectly. So you'll need to kind of bend it a little bit. See here, the left side is flush, but the right side has a little bit of a gap. But no worries, because once you put the screw in, it'll fix itself up. So here I'm going to put the smaller screw on the top with a 4mm Allen tool. I'm just going to put it in first and then hand tighten it. Okay, now because it was a bit tough to get the screw in, what I'm going to use is a bigger screw that I had with a bigger handle here. So it was actually really tough. I had to use 2 hands. And that was just enough to get the screw in. It would be, I mean, you could use the Allen tool provided, but or the little Allen tool, but it's quite tough. And here I am using a power tool. If you're, note to self, if you're using a power tool, just make sure you're doing it really slowly and gently, and never overdo it, okay? Here I am, I'm not actually going all the way. I'm just going to the very end, and then where I'm going to hand tighten it. Here I am, hand tightening the screws here. So once that's all in, on the bottom one you're going to put a washer and a nut. Okay, and the nut requires a 10mm socket. Hand tightened, okay, and then same on the other side. You could put the washer in first and then the nut. Great. Now to the top, we're going to use the 4mm Allen tool to hand tighten. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is connect the rear brake light cable, right? So I'm going to mount it and wire it along the rack here. The rear rack comes with a extension cable, which is this one here. And it's actually just long enough to fit. So note the male and female connection parts. And here we are, gonna just align the arrow located on the plugs. And then figure out how you're gonna route the wire. Plug in the other side. Right, so Rad provided 2 black zip ties, but I noticed that if you put the zip tie over, you see the white frame or the orange frame, it's very noticeable. So a good thing, what I did was I have these clear zip ties, and with that, if you notice, if you put that over the white frame, it's not as noticeable. So I'm gonna go with the clear zip ties. So if you have some clear zip ties, I recommend doing this unless you have a black mini Step-Thru. So here I am, just routing the cable. making it as less visible as possible, hiding it behind the rack. So here is kind of where I wanted to do it. Here's where I wanted to put the wires, and then tighten the zip ties and snip it off. Snip off the ends there, just like that. Alright, so let's turn it back on. Turn it on, key, turn it on, and turn on the headlights. So you can see, boom, there's my headlight. And then the back light is on. So it's flashing because of the camera, but I'm going to turn on the blinking mode. There it is. Alright, and that concludes the install video. I hope you found it useful, and I actually tried sitting on the rack and it can definitely hold a lot of weight. So depending on your needs, I think you would find this useful. Alright, so that concludes the video. Thanks for watching. See ya.